Gnu's in the corner until he gets here, though, right?
Hello, welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast from independent validator teams. And
now there's two.
And now there's two. That was surprising.
We're fucking rugged right at the beginning of the show.
So to be, I mean, I didn't hallucinate that Schultzy was here a minute ago.
He was, in fact, here a minute ago.
The cast is reducing minute by minute. Cool. Okay. So Null has been eaten by a crocodile, and will not be returning to the podcast. So we're going to have to do.
We're taking submissions for the fourth member of the band.
Taking submissions on that. No. We will come back to Null's News Corner in a second when he figures out his presumably animal-based troubles in Australia. And in the meantime, what have you been up to, Usurper? Where have you been?
What's going on? I know I've been out for 2 weeks, right?
The cigarettes took a while, huh?
They did. I know. Stupid life getting in the way of things. Yeah, it's been busy. I don't know. Say launched this week. I know there's a bunch of drama, I guess, online about it, but I don't really. I think it's airdrop drama, so that doesn't.
Is there
really drama? There is. I think. I don't know why. I think they moved it, or they said they wanted more time or something. But when people say that they want free things and those free things don't happen exactly when the free things are coming, I think maybe you get angry. It could be more than that. I don't know. I don't really care. But it's live, and I guess it's been live for a while. In all honesty, it's been live for maybe since May. I think is when that launched. Although it's been obviously just kind of getting ready, and I think the Say team was working with different exchanges to get listed on those exchanges, and so it was kind of an opportunity to launch, I guess, you'd be able to launch products and be able to launch a token and kind of have everything ready at once, which I think is really nice, actually. I mean, I don't really have an issue with that. I think that was quite good. So it took a while to get to this point. It's been, like I said, probably like 4 or 5 months since we've been putting infrastructure and stuff like that towards it, but it's here. And so we've been validating. We've been signing blocks. That's what we do around here is we sign blocks.
So not much dishonest work.
It's not much. That's true. So far, it's not much.
It's not much. Oh no, sorry, you're talking about the income. It's not much.
No. Well, we haven't. I don't even know. Honestly, I haven't really looked. I know there's commission coming in. Like I know we see that, but I don't think there's any. I think transfers are enabled. I know IBC is enabled because we run relayers on it, but I don't know if I don't know if there's a market or whatever is going on. I haven't really looked, so might be something to look at eventually. But yeah, so that's good. And we've been running a bunch of RPC and crap for that. So there's the usage is interesting because I think it's blocked in a ton of I'm not sure because if you go to app.say.io, I think it is, that website is like you can see like the swaps and those types of things that are available, but as a US citizen, you can't use them. And so it gets blocked from here in the US, but it's also there's a tremendous amount of countries where it is blocked, like Germany and France and a few other, like UK. I think you can't use it, and a bunch of other ones. So our RPC traffic is about, which is really interesting. It's about 70% Asia, which is like no other chain. So we have some nodes out there, but it's mostly Singapore and Taiwan and a bunch of other types of things. And then Europe is next. And there's like no traffic out of the US, like zero. So it's very inverse from the other ones. I know this is fascinating. Say RPC discussion, hashtag. So yeah. So anyway, so it's here. I know there's a bunch of chains launching. And Alex dropped up. I'm fighting Core's cross origin issues elsewhere and trying to help. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on.
I'd be kind of curious. So, okay. So as your RPC, you obviously would see a VPN coming in as not its original location, right? So I wonder how much is actually coming from like the US, because they'd have to be using a VPN
sure.
for it to register, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a transaction. So they would that VPN IP address would be what would be hitting the endpoint, right? And that's the one that would push it. So, so I can, I think I could probably, I'm sure I could pull a list of like common VPN endpoints, right? Like Nord and this and that, and try to get a list of what those would be in IPv4 and IPv6 and kind of cross-reference them. I'm sure there's a shitload of VPN traffic, right? There has to be. So it's actually, but usually those are, honestly, Schultz, those are usually, at least maybe it's more in my history, but usually those things are endpointed into Europe. But I guess it could be anywhere, but yeah, good point. So, but and rightly, I mean, whatever, we have like almost zero North America traffic, which makes sense since it's blocked there. But even the apps that are using the SAY network as a baseline, so we get some of that traffic as well. So, yeah. So anyway, so it's just it's pretty interesting because usually we don't do much in terms, like, at least compared to other chains where we run infrastructure where we know where the source is coming. Those countries have been historically extremely low Cosmos users. Like I could speak for Stargaze and other ones. Like I know what those percentages are, and they're not very large. And this one is the exact opposite. Like it is. So it's a bit it's interesting from that perspective. And I don't know if that means that's VPN traffic or it's just, hey, this is where the users are, but it's cool.
So what do you think the traffic is? Because the airdrop isn't actually available yet, right? So what are people doing?
Well, there's a bunch of I don't know actually, because that's a good point. So we do have some traffic numbers for some projects that are using these endpoints. So for example, like Sparrow Swap is one of those. So I know that Sparrow is active. I can go to their site, I can log in, I can do things. There are other tool sets that in other projects that use the SAY Foundation endpoints and also the SAY app itself. That I know is I believe those are all considered part of, I don't even know how it's considered, to be honest, but I'm guessing it all works through that same kind of country block. That country block is purely website based, right? It's not anything that we're not like, we don't block any traffic. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. So, so yeah, I don't know where the North America traffic is coming from, but we are certainly getting a large amount out of other parts of the world.
How many hits per second are you able to get out of each node? Because I know Stargaze, you're able to get like what, 1,000 hits per second?
No, more than that. Usually, yeah, maybe somewhere in there, like 1,000 to. I think I have the nodes, the actual nodes themselves, locked down to max out at 10,000 concurrent connections, which is too much because I even have to open up TCP tables to allow that. But that's probably too much, and so I can put a little bit on the balancer to allow it to hold on to those before the other one is done. And so I can kind of, there's a little bit of controls there to slow things down. But right now, I think anything over, I also don't think Tendermint, like just the stack itself is not really built for that amount of querying, right? So it kind of falls apart pretty quick. But right now, like for instance, as we're talking, we're about globally like 300 requests a second, which is totally, that's maybe like a third of what Stargaze is all the time. Stargaze is usually about 1,000 overall.
Really? Constantly?
Constantly. Yeah. And actually, I mean, to that team's credit, like they have significantly lowered the number of API hits we're getting because Jorge and team have done a lot in terms of how they do caching and those types of things. Cloudflare right now, as we're talking, is a flat 1,500 a second. So that is an average of 320 million a week, which is pretty bitchin' actually.
That's a huge amount. That's a lot of traffic. I mean, I'd love to see like, this would be a really shitty metric, but like RPC metrics compared to market cap, right? Like Stargaze, I know that they have pretty decent usage, but their market cap is quite low, right?
They do.
It'd be such a fascinating metric to see that, because it could be a decent, an okay metric for utilization.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing is too, on NFT marketplaces, like the number of requests to build a page is pretty high, right? Because because you're querying the chain for all the NFT data, you're getting the list of all these types of things. If I go to the Bad Kids page, like some of that is cache, but you're still pulling a list of what I own. You're pulling a list of metadata associated with it. And then on top of that, these requests also count the IPFS structure too, which is pulling in the metadata for the actual IPFS collection. And then, and that gets all the IPFS stuff is cached in Cloudflare. So that gets counted in terms of the request per second, but doesn't come back to the load balancers, right? So like, for instance, Cloudflare right now is about 1,400 requests a second, but only 700 of that get back to the actual nodes. So the other 700 are handled like from image management and all those types of things. So it's a pretty busy chain from that perspective, because I think it takes a lot. I haven't done it, but I mean, they've done a lot of work here, but there's a lot of queries that build a web page, right? From a Web3 perspective. You're not just like, select all from some table. Versus like DeFi, the number of queries to build a page, I think, are pretty low. So that the average number of unique visitors per second on Stargaze right now versus Sei is about half. Okay, so there's a half number concurrent unique visitors per second. There's twice as many on Sei, but 1/8 as much traffic in terms of requests. So that means, so every page that I'm looking at in Sei, or for any sort of dApp, right, the number of requests to be able to do a transaction, it's 8 times as many on the NFT marketplace. That's a good way of saying it. That's a pretty reasonable type of number based on what we see. So, and there's just more graphics, right? I mean, you have a bunch of shit and you have all these collections and all this. I think it makes sense, right? That you have to do a bunch of queries to be able to get it out, and so, but I think queries per market cap would be interesting.
I wonder what also about bots. I doubt there are a lot of bots right now for Sei so far, right? Whereas Stargaze, I'm pretty sure there's a handful of bots that, like, they always track whenever a new Bad Kids is sold, or check the bottom price, whatever it's called, the floor price. I never remember the terminology.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know if I trust if you trust Cloudflare and what they say right now at Sei it's 32% automated, 12% likely human.
It tells you that
54% likely automated. So
wow,
it knows. I'm not sure how it's doing that analysis. It might be based off of like what the referrers are, or the agent string. It might be based off of the concurrency, but there is some shit associated to that. Like they do some work in there. And so according to that, it says that, but again, that they handle like regular web traffic and shit. I'm only talking APIs, right? So if I said, hey, this is an API, maybe those numbers would change. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of built to handle anything, but I only use it for API data or API traffic. Right. So, but it kind of thinks, I mean, it has an idea. I could look at Stargaze too. I could take a look at that. I bet you well, actually, I don't know, because we break up the domains by API versus not API there as well. But yeah, so I'm guessing, I think you're right though. I'm guessing there's a decent amount of bot traffic that's coming in through there. Oh yeah, there it says, let's see. Jorge tracks it by time too. So he has automated let's see, human is, only about maybe 20% of things. And the rest of it is verified bot, likely automated. But again, it's API traffic on this one. So who knows? Like, I don't even know. It's weird.
How many requests are you doing?
On what? On Sei?
Yeah.
Right now it's about 200 and about 275, 300 a second on there. So in the last 20,
was that like 8 to 10 million a day?
15.7 million in the last day.
15%. Okay.
Yeah, about 16 million. And so right now out of that, it is about 65% out of Asia, 27% out of Europe, and about 25% overall out of Singapore, and another 15% out of Taiwan. So it's very Asia
well, like
Asia specific.
There's a lot of countries blocked out of the airdrop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's not even happening yet. So I'm assuming that this traffic will increase greatly when that happens. Although, I mean, there's a lot of apps that use this tool set. So I don't even know how it's going to happen. So,
man, during the Atlantic testnet, like our RPCs were taking 250 million requests a day.
yeah. Well, they were
like
they were spamming the heck out of
pretty
that too,
insane,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Bot
Yeah, we
traffic
haven't-
was like through the roof though. So
Yeah, and this is a service that we're providing, right? So I keep lowering the I'm pretty brutal on the 429s right now. So I'm blocking like
you're
I would,
serving a lot of 429s.
I'm serving mostly 429s. I was saying that like I was going to try to allow public mainnet about 50,000 requests a day, and honestly, I don't even see that's worth it because the ones that I'm seeing it's just garbage traffic, right? It's just from one IP address and 40,000 requests. So now I have it. I think I'm limiting it to 10 requests a minute, 10 requests over 10 seconds, and I block for a minute and whatever else. So I'm just 429 a ton of people, and then I'm giving out API keys to projects that need them, right?
Yeah, so I guess like I mean, it's a weird spot you're in because you're sort of like the main purpose of that, right? Is as a contracted provider for
Correct.
foundation,
Right.
and then
That's right.
Yeah, I guess you need to put on some private clients as well. Like we have, we just have ours is only private, so there's like no public traffic at all. But I think like I've been tossing up whether or not to actually put on the free public RPC like we do for most of the other networks.
Yeah.
I think I probably will, but in the interest of the health of that, we'll probably put some sort of rate limiter, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't rate limit any of the other networks that we have free RPC for.
Really?
And yeah, none of them really get too much of a hiding. Like they handle the traffic just fine. I really didn't know how much traffic a node could handle until the Atlantic 2 testnet, and they can take a fucking lot of traffic.
They can't. Like, I think we were talking about this before you joined. Like Schultz was asking. Like, I think for us, we were getting. I think once it gets to be like 1,000 requests a second per node, it really starts to like it falls off fast. You know what I mean? Like it just starts to shit the bed a little bit, and then it just has it. It's just not
so depending on what the requests are, but
yeah, true.
Like binary issues aside, which we had in the testnet, when everything was running well, and the nodes were reasonably fresh, like 3,000 to 4,000 requests per second was achievable. So, and that's a fair bit.
I guess it does depend on what. I mean, transactions, no way. The transactions a single node, it is a very small number we saw. But it's, like basic queries like balances.
Yeah, like all those
or
kind
like a
of
contract
query
amount.
requests. Yeah, you can take a fair bit. Yeah. Not sure about the transactions because it's actually quite hard to determine what a transaction is because some of the projects just like they're querying through posts instead of gets. So it gets like you can't figure out what the hell they're querying.
Right.
Especially if it's coming through RPC. So but yeah, it's certainly been like eye-opening anyway. I don't know if Say has actually done anything different to make the performance better, but it seems like they can take a fair bit of abuse.
Yeah, I don't know if they have because I sent knowing that we're helping with some of the foundation. I sent like all our node configs. I said this is how I'm running it. So like I've made over time I've made changes to like the specific things like the IAVL cache or like what we're doing on the WASM side and when that's appropriate. So we've done a little bit of tweaking in those configs based on other history that we've had, right? And so I sent that over to them to say, like, this is what my plan is. And you guys have you done any research on this or like worked on it at all? So I didn't get much feedback out of that, but I'm hoping that we haven't really pushed these nodes to the limit yet. So I'm hoping to see kind of how it works. I'm actually working with somebody. The only issue we've had, honestly, is we had a lot of projects. I don't understand cores well enough. I just don't understand it, and it's like it seems like a black art. I fucking hate it. But we have a lot of projects that like they're hitting they're hitting our API endpoints, and then on the back end, maybe somebody who's listening might know this, but on the back end, I write I have a web firewall rule or a web rule that basically a transform rule is really what it's called in there. That on the response header, I rewrite the cores backwards to say, hey, that if it hits any of these domain names, which are our domain names, access control head, allow headers is star, access allow origin is star, allow methods is post get head or post get put head options, like all the options, everything's starred out, right? So every response coming back, those are there, which would mean that any browser would say, oh, this is totally fine, right? Because cores is really a client side thing. And then we had projects that were using localhost as the refer. So localhost, Chrome like rejects as a refer. That's not a valid refer. And so Chrome itself blocks if localhost is the refer that is going to a cores engine that allows star. This is fucking complicated. But so, and there's like, I found a couple pages on it. Like the browser itself is that if the refer address is localhost, cores doesn't work. Like it just fucking blocks it because it's a workaround or something. I don't know. And so we have a bunch of projects that had like localhost in their Vercel deployments and all this type of stuff. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck does this happen. So anyway, so some teams are struggling with that. I don't even know how to help them. You're muted.
Maybe
so the clients actually had localhost.
The client has it, but I think it's a method of the web app to maybe set what the referring is, or maybe that request needs to be proxied somehow. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the communication path is in that thing, or like who's talking to what.
Well, there's a bit of a jumble between front end and back end on some of those JavaScript frameworks now, isn't there? So it does beg the question of like configuration in terms of like it's running on a box somewhere, presumably.
Yeah.
And whether there's some additional config on that box so that they can have more than one application running or something like that. And they've just futzed around with the cores headers to make everything work. But just defaults. So like an example of where the localhost thing is necessary is in development. So quite often a default configuration option for cores in, say, a Next app would be to set localhost plus where it's going to come from. So like you have to do this for RPC endpoints in Cosmos. So if you run a local dev, maybe you don't anymore, but you certainly used to have to set the cores headers in the app.toml, like dynamically, like rewrite it when you started the app or started a chain, so that your Next app could talk to it. And then obviously, if you're just running it in a Docker container on your laptop and exposing it to the host, it's going to be localhost. So you can do it, and you can actually even visit that, but only when it's, I guess, served up in the end app. If you tried to just hit it straight up, I guess it would blow up.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
We have a team that does a lot of testing, and like I see localhost coming through all the time as a referrer. I haven't had any complaints.
And maybe I should just right now I'm specifically rewriting the cores headers on the outbound to allow star. I'm trying to avoid any node specific cores headers on those requests getting out, right? So I don't want to worry about what the nodes are saying, because right now I have star in all the nodes as well. I don't give a shit, right? So
no, that's the problem. Don't do that. So are you talking about your config, Toml, or
it could be in the yeah, go ahead.
You can't write it twice or it fucks up. You need to, if you are rewriting the headers in your proxy, you need to actually just take out any configuration for those in your config.toml.
I can look at the headers that are coming back. Like I can curl the headers that are coming back from like a request though, and I can see that there's like the headers look perfect. So I'm trying to figure out.
Like I'm looking at mine now.
PagerDuty. Hello.
Yeah, fucking PagerDuty.
Wait, is my phone going off too?
Yeah, well, it could be. I don't. Yeah, there's a problem with one of the test nets yesterday. It stalled out, and they just gave us a new binary, and I guess people are just putting it back on. But actually, this is Mosaic saying that it's run out of process. It's too many nodes.
PagerDuty on testnets. What is this? 2021.
PagerDuty and testnets. What are you doing?
We think our testnets are important. So
add that to your Twitter profile. King knows. We think testnets are important.
So we're rewriting the allow headers, allow methods, allow origin, and max age.
In what?
In control.
On like a caddy server or something?
Yeah, so we rewrite that in the proxy, but all of our configs on the actual nodes are all unconfigured.
Yeah. I think that's the case. I might have I got to look back on this config for Say, because Say is a little bit different because it uses that 3.7 Tendermint thing, so it requires a little bit of config on the Ansible side. I can't remember if it's star or if it's just blank. I got to go look. But if I am double writing it,
probably get rid of your problems. Don't double write it, and you'll get no problem.
But they are the same, right? So does it fucking matter?
I don't know. There's some people report that they get this double, like there's an error that comes through, and it's like something to do with double stars, and you can't rewrite it twice. Well, you can't send it and then rewrite it. It does something. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm not even sure what throws the error, but like whether that's their end user software or whether it's something in between it. But like we never get any errors on our side when we do it. But I know that the clients have problems. So if we only do it once, we don't have problems.
I forget what by default it's what? It's like it's just like a 2 brackets, right? Oh, I've seen that. James said I've seen that error on Say because of Ansible had to remove those second lines.
So what we do is basically use a vanilla config and do like on the node, and then do all of our configuration in the proxy. Seems to work. Haven't had any complaints.
Okay, I only have this one. I have had 2 teams that have had this CORS issue, and I know they both were sending localhost. I know sending localhost is a bad juju, so I know that's a problem, and I know that star in the referrer rejects that. I know the browser says, hey, localhost doesn't count in star. I know that. I mean, I've looked that up multiple times, so I know that exists. But this double thing, I could be doing that. There's no doubt about it. This podcast is becoming helpful. I don't understand. More to me than anybody else. Nobody gives a shit about this.
It's like, what are we doing here, man?
What are we doing, man? Talking about node operations and shit. Oh, it's time, baby.
Who's done that? I refuse to participate.
In what?
In the corner.
It's your segment. We carved out this segment for you.
I mean, we have content, ideas, right? And I now don't agree with the idea. I think that we should change this around to have our subjects to hit for the potty rather than fucking. It's too clunky. It makes me feel weird.
All right.
It's too clunky. Turn it off.
It's Schultz's News Corner.
We're just making
Schultz's News Corner. Oh shit! Okay.
Schultz's News Corner.
I can shoot with this. This is my moment to shine. Okay.
Wait, we have topics this week too, right?
So much for my moment to shine. You interrupted me. Fine.
Oh, we have Rama on the case, and Rama is producing topics. Except the deal was with Rama is that he would produce the subjects and some links, and then we would review them on Wednesdays so that we knew what was happening for the Potto.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
today's Wednesday.
Except he's provided the links and no one's reviewed them.
Actually, that's not true.
Me, because I've just been completely fucking flat out.
I did look at the links.
Wait, what?
And then
where?
It's in the sheet off to the right hand side.
The sheet.
I do have some funny news.
Oh.
This is it's not really news, but it is quite funny. Kingnodes has exited Mars as promised on the 15th of April.
Congratulations.
Only for Rhino to take up the mantle.
Wait,
You're
what?
back
Hey,
in, buddy.
that means my delegations
not.
are getting steak again. Sweet.
No, I'm not. Am I? I'm not. in
You
there.
and Needlecast both active now.
Wait, am I missing blocks?
I don't know.
If you get me slash, I'm gonna be very upset.
Dude,
Oh yeah, you're going to jail, bud.
am I? I thought. Wait, why is there?
Wait,
Why is there even
were we
steak on
inactive
there? I thought it
before?
unstaked all that.
Well, you
Hey.
had me stake with you to keep you in the active set. I never unstaked.
Are you the 13,000?
I might be.
Dude, I'm risking your. I'm risking.
That's
your
really funny.
45 cents, man.
I know that it's serious. This
Hang
is
on
a
a fucking
serious
second.
conundrum.
This is serious.
Hang on a fucking second.
You've come back in with a VP of 16,000. You bloody.
Oh wait, no, I'm at 4,900. Oh, I'm last in this list. Oh, I don't be in this list.
16,000. I wonder what that is in a
Wait, am I
dollar
16?
value.
Oh, it just happened, right? I actually see blocks that are not red. Oh, you bastard.
Yeah,
How
I did
you
it this
do to
morning.
me? How did you do this to me? Wait, it says self-bonded 12,000. I have 12,000 Mars sitting here. That's how well I'm managing this business, folks.
I told you the other day. I said when I unbond, you're going to be thrust into the limelight.
You did.
You're
I
gonna
thought you
take
were,
up the
I thought
mantle.
you honestly, I thought you were kidding. I honestly thought you were kidding. Boy, this
Serious
price
as a
action
heart
on
attack.
Mars it's only down 50%. It's like it's a win.
in the last 12 hours.
Oh man. Well, so that's good Null's News Corner information that right now I'm missing blocks and
I think we've always been in the set because if we weren't making blocks, our monitoring would have gone up.
are you
we
in?
are
You're
like-
in, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are
he's
like, close to
like
bottom.
third from the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, if
Oh yeah, there you are,
somebody
Needlecast.
if somebody unbonds from us, then we can save
You're
$300
signing
a
logs.
month on that server.
You can unbond yourself, you know.
I'm not even
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
what
yeah,
we
yeah,
have self-staked, if anything.
This
It's been
yeah,
a
this
while.
this chain really hasn't gone to plan, has it?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't know. I'd be interested to see.
Self.
This would be something I'd be interested to see, like how many transactions and
I don't know. I don't know
How
if we're
much use there
self-staked
is.
anything on Mars.
Oof. CoinGecko printing reds across the board yesterday. Juno under 20 cents.
is it? Oh yeah, 19.4.
Mm,
Got further to go, probably. Most of the Cosmos has.
Yeah, it's actually been a pretty rough week overall. Aptos is down a lot. Cosmos down 9% this week.
we are still 100% in bear territory, baby.
Juno down 18%.
Yep.
Evmos another 13%. Evmos 6 cents now.
Everyone's 6 cents. Takes a drink.
6 cents. Take a drink.
6 cents.
Did you say
take a drink.
Evmos is 6 cents?
6 cents. Yeah. Yep.
Oof.
Chainlink
And
Should
then
have
I
sold
13
those
mile
as
land.
rewards at $3.
I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually holding. I mean, Ethereum's down $1,800, down 2%, but everything else is like way.
I mean,
way
the moral of
worse.
the
All those
story was
alts are way better.
Yeah, the moral of the story was to cash out into ETH. Well, actually, the moral of the story was to cash out in fucking USD.
Exactly. Exactly. That inflation's only like 7%.
Hey, hindsight's 2020, man. Hindsight's
I
2020.
love the crypto Cedo videos where he's always like calling USD shitcoin.
Yeah.
Can you get 5% on treasury bonds at the moment? That's
It's pretty decent.
pretty
Mhm.
decent. Like if
Is that
I
What's that right now?
Yeah,
You need
but
about-
like if
the
I had,
rewards, the rewards for those T-bills are paid in shitcoin.
according to Cryptocito, who I go to for all my fucking financial advice.
That's 100% of my financial advice.
Savage 1R, why does the Say airdrop suck? I don't know. I don't have any.
I don't know either. I didn't even know that there was. I was talking to someone and I didn't even know there was a Twitter hashtag or X hashtag for Say Scam, and I was like, wait, what? Like already? It just launched yesterday.
I thought the
Um,
airdrop wasn't available yet.
Yeah, and they came out and they said like, "Hey, we're not ready for it. It's going to happen. Atlantic 2 users will get it." And there's not. I mean, there's a lot of Atlantic 2 users, but it's not enough to call it a scam. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't know. Maybe there's more to the story.
I don't like. Everyone just loves to call a project a scam these days.
Like when I don't get my free money exactly when I expect it, therefore it is a total fucking scam.
I, for one, really enjoy that Osmosis is getting an airdrop, but the Cosmos is not. Like,
yeah,
that feels kind of like I'm pushing out some hot take right there, but
I think there's so many salty fucking people because of that. They're just like, what? Because everyone just expects that the Atom holders will get the airdrop, but in reality, like those users bring no value to the platform because they're all fucking non-users, right? There's so many whales in there as well that just have been sitting on that shit for years.
Osmosis liquidity providers are like the meme of the soldiers holding up society drowning in blood. They're like,
seriously, that's exactly right.
Providers, they're the people who get airdrops. Like all of the metrics are not conducive to the functioning of the interchain.
That's exactly right. Like if those LPs go to zero and people give up on that area, it's over.
Yeah, the party
the party is literally over. Atom, like there's no value in that other than people holding on for the sake of holding on. Like that's it. It's done.
There's no value in it except holding on. For the sake of holding on could describe a lot of the eco right now. And I don't mean just Cosmos. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
In general, all of them.
But that everybody holds that up as being like, hey, this is the bank, right, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway,
I find it really interesting how sticky exchanges are, or like swaps are. Osmosis doesn't do all that much, like with the most glorious ways. Like I would say that Wind in many ways had a better user experience than Osmosis, but nobody moved over to it. I think a handful of people did to get yield, and then they called it good. Went back to Osmosis. I find that really fascinating. Like I know that if you find like, you know, your iPhone, you're not going to leave your iPhone because it's really sticky to leave the thing you're already happy with. But it's really fun and interesting and fascinating seeing it happen in real time.
I wish there was a better like mobile user experience for the Cosmos, just like an app that sort of is on the ball, does it all, and abstracts away all the bullshit of IBC. And you can just sit there and swipe and press buttons and your fucking tokens fly all over the place and you are in DeFi and losing money.
But I want a betting app on my phone, said Null.
Well, mate, hey, maybe Sigma 6 have a betting app. That'll be cool. If they can produce a user experience like you would get from like, you know, Bet Bros or whatever the main betting apps are, like that'd go. If you can create an experience that doesn't feel like Web3 in a betting app, that would go very well.
If you could,
I don't know if that's entirely true. Fantasy sports aren't nearly as big as they used to be. I have a buddy who has made a lot of money off it. He's been like the top 10 in like all of the DraftKings and fantasy sports things for a long time because he's a data scientist, and it's something like 100th the size it was like 5 years ago. So like it's cool in theory.
Like sports betting?
Sports betting. Yeah, it's much, much, much smaller than it was even just a few years ago.
Oh, okay. You said fantasy, but this isn't fantasy. I guess actual sports betting.
Fantasy and sports betting. Yeah, he does.
He does why it's smaller.
Sports betting's still pretty big.
Okay, I guess I should say within the US, it's much smaller than it was. Like it's at least a factor of 10 smaller than it was like 3 years ago.
No more.
It would have been huge like 5 years ago, and the reason for that is because of the GFC.
The GFC.
Yeah, when things go to shit, people tend to turn to get rich quick stuff and degenerate stuff. But it's also it's a factor of like it's because of A, hardship, and B, depression. And people turn to gambling and drinking and all kinds of shit like that. So
shouldn't things be high? Shouldn't sports betting be higher now then? Because things aren't really in a great state right now.
I mean, comparatively to 2008, they're probably pretty good. But
yeah,
we've just come off like a pretty
2008. Okay, I thought you were saying 2018. I completely missed that. So I was like, what happened in 2018 that made it so bad?
Sorry, I was off by a factor of 10 years. But like lately, like, you know, things have been up until very recently. The last 3 to 4 years have been pretty golden, like all through COVID, especially here in Australia. Like
I was
our
about to
economic
say,
situation in
especially here in
Australia has been
Australia, like
pretty
compared
fantastic.
to, you know, the
Well, I
Australian
mean, we just keep
experience
digging
of
up
the
rocks
economy
no
is
matter
super
what
different.
and fucking them off in the boat. So I don't know
Breaking
who
rocks.
takes them, but they keep melting them into shit.
Breaking rocks, shipping them away.
You need batteries,
yeah,
we got
yeah.
shit for that. You need steel, we got shit for that. Just imagine the guy standing on the fucking deck hawking like piles of shit.
You said that
Pretty much.
people turn to gambling in times of downness, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's that's when I found crypto in during COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing, exactly, right? It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like IRL, I actually invest in you know, like Tab Corp and Star Casino and all those guys when things are starting to look bad, start chucking money into casinos and shit.
Yeah.
Like on the other end though, on the house side.
That's the way to do it.
Degeneracy is the only way. The good
Oh,
and the
baby.
bad.
All right, what else is in
Schultze's
Schultze's
corner he
corner?
was about to drop some news bombs on us until he rudely interrupted 40 minutes ago.
My favorite one is Prop 818, the slashing of Putmos and was it Citizen Cosmos? I want to say.
Citizen Cosmos, I think.
Thank you. So we voted yes on that. We as a team kind of disagree with tombstoning in general, but if we're going to do tombstoning, we should do tombstoning. So we voted yes. However, it turns out that this prop, whether it goes through or not, isn't actually going to do anything because the proposal was submitted incorrectly. And it requires like this really weird like coordination of time between the two blockchains to do it correctly. And so they're aiming at the wrong / block. So everybody's switching over to no now, which I think is absolutely fascinating.
Wait, so
does that mean they're going to redo it?
Great question. I don't know.
So what how did this happen? This was a slashing event on what? On Neutron or on something or on Stride? Stride, right?
I think it was Neutron. So what happened was there was an upgrade. They fucked it up.
Nobody cares, right? Because it's a subchain. Who gives a shit?
Right. So
I add some color. I add some color in there. Never mind.
Hot take.
Hot take. ICS, nobody cares because it's small money. Nobody gives a shit because this model doesn't make any sense and nobody wants to pay attention. But just a personal opinion.
Yeah. So there were two tombstoning events, but they don't actually have the tombstoning like happening. They don't get jailed. They don't get slashed. None of that. It's just like the Byzantine fault like shows up on chain and then they move on. And so there's a government proposal that went up saying, hey, we should actually probably enforce this. So proposal goes up. And the problem is the way ICS works is you have like the two chains that are running in parallel, right? And the way the proposal was submitted was it was submitted such that it would enact the slashing event for tombstoning as if it was happening on the consumer chain on Neutron. However, the way slashing actually works has to happen on the Cosmos of. So They have to figure out what block coordinated with the slashing block from the consumer to Cosmos Hub, but they didn't do that. They just used the consumer block. And so that's the issue. So in order to actually do slashing, it requires so much overhead that people didn't even know about. Like Zaki was the one that put up Prop 818. Like he's one of the original developers on Tendermint, or maybe not the original developers, but he's like one of the most ingrained.
Yeah, sure.
And even he got it wrong. So like we're entering the stage of like how much does slashing matter? Apparently not at all. Like bad behavior doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't make a difference. That's good. I'm glad that we have so the security then, if slashing doesn't matter, right? I guess the security is purely financial in some sort of sense. But
which it turns out is the same as the real world.
so, the security is still financial only,
But how is it even financial? Because
there's no
it says-
slashing.
yeah, there's no way of actually being slashed, so there isn't even.
So
no-
security is purely about the amount locked, isn't it? So it's
it
just
is about
too
the
big-
amount locked. That's
It's
correct.
just too big to fail, but with no real backing.
Like the real
That
world.
hasn't ever had a problem
Perfect.
before.
This is
I'm
awesome.
pretty sure in the history of economics, too big to fail has never failed.
That's true. That's right. That's right. I love it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So anyway, so this
Sweet.
proposal means nothing, and nobody's opinions mean anything because it's not enforceable anyway. It doesn't do anything. So the question is, if it passes, then there's a case to be made that it should then be fixed and actually pass.
Yeah. I don't know. I still stand by the idea that like I think that tombstone slashing should basically go away, and then
That's
all
fucking stupid.
downtime slashing should be increased. Like
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
Evmos, the way that Evmos having a 1% slash for downtime, I think that's right. I think that there should be a high downtime slash, but basically no tombstone, because the tombstoning is already handled, or double signing is already handled within the chain, right? So
Yeah.
if that
Right,
happens,
but even downtime slashing, there's an argument for whether that needs to exist.
yeah,
There
I mean, I
is.
agree.
Yeah.
Like quadratic slashing would probably be the best, right? If you're up higher, you get slashed higher because you have a greater responsibility.
Well, but I mean, it's back to like the multiple mechanisms, I suppose. Like the reason that you have downtime slashing is because not every chain has inflation or like infinite inflation within a bracket. But if you have chains with sort of unbounded inflation, then yeah, some of them don't even have slashing for downtime. It's just that you're losing money, so you're incentivized not to be down. Otherwise, obviously, your delegators will fuck off.
That's partially not even true. If you miss a block, you still get the tokens. The only time that you
Yeah, but if you
lose-
get jailed, I think
yeah,
like if you get jailed, you don't. But it is kind of dumb. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it'd be a much better system if you don't sign the block, you don't get the rewards for that block. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what would be the funny? Do you know what the funny thing is, though? I guess the problem we'd have is no solution. is the correct
people would
one.
be reducing their time to, like, everyone would be speeding the blocks up so that they have small wait times. So that
Well, also yes, but like the you sign the block, you get paid. You don't sign the block, you don't get paid. Is simple and therefore elegant, but it does also rely on, but at the point where you 100% rely only on the economics to drive the security of the chain, you also rely on the chain being worth something. So at the moment, for most Cosmos, that would just mean validators there would be absolutely no reason to not let your validator go zombie on some chains and then just crash the chain. Like, chains would not come back after upgrades in a bear.
Right.
So that's the thing with downtime slashing. It's sort of that dead man switch that forces the chain to stay up through hopium, essentially.
Like, why couldn't you have that as like there's nothing stopping having the two factors. Like, if you don't sign the blocks, you don't get paid, and if you don't sign any blocks for a while, then you've got the dead man switch that just turns you off until you decide to come back and be active.
Yeah, I mean, that would work. I just feel it feels like we must be missing a trick, that the downtime slashing just feels like a very inelegant solution. Like,
I feel like they added, when they built it, they just put all these functions in there with maybe the intent was that you use some of them, not all of them, and then people were just using all of them because that is what was in the default, like, Genesis that gets spat out, like the you can't miss 100 blocks or something.
Right.
Yeah, remember when people used to not change the default and you'd get a mainnet where you couldn't miss 100 blocks?
Yeah, that was like that was in the Genesis, right? Where you missed 100 blocks and you were gone or something.
Yeah,
that is still true on Tenet.
It still is.
Oh, is it?
Genesis, I think.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, on Tenet, it's 100 blocks.
Even in mainnet.
Yeah. Now they don't have downtime slashing, but you still can get jailed.
Fun.
So
what are these guys talking about? If they did,
You
what?
mean the folks in the comments? They have breaking news that they know that we're not going to cover or understand. But I mean, honestly, that's most things.
Okay, look.
Wait,
okay, so let's cover something
okay.
from Rama. This is Rama's news corner, actually. But don't put up the goddamn banner, man. It makes my head hurt at blue down the bottom.
No banners.
So actually one thing that Rama mentions this week, it's probably not what they're talking about in the comments, but I haven't been reading the comments. So I said the Stash app has implemented an email sign up. So the secret marketplace Stash app has decided to enforce email sign up requirements on all users so you can see and trade your NFTs. They said this can go interchain and allow users to recover their wallet by having the seed phrase emailed to them
in plain text. In plain text.
in plain text.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, email's encrypted now. It's all good.
Yeah, I can't see. I bet they're not using GPG for that. They're just plain text, baby. No,
I mean, that's mine. Yeah, it's fine. Between servers, no big deal. It'll be fine.
Sorry about that. Not a security issue at all.
So
It's not a security issue if you say the word YOLO before you commit to it.
it depends if there's an
if
airdrop.
people know you're YOLOing, then it's fine, right?
If there's an airdrop involved, then all rules go out the window. If I get an airdrop, then I can put my keys into anything and it's safe. I think that's really the rule, right?
That's what
So-
I've learned. Yes.
Say it's
is
an
that right?
airdrop.
If there's
Any
an
new
if
wallet
there's
that
free
you
money,
have to use for that airdrop, you can just YOLO your
fucking
validated keys.
doesn't matter,
into
right?
it.
It's
Do
totally
you remember when
safe.
you had to like when there was the one for, was it Desmos, where it was like that as well? It's just like, hey, you know, we could actually
YOLO
like look
your
at the
fucking
airdrop,
seed
but
phrase
instead-
into the browser.
yeah, you just got to put your seed phrase in this thing. It was like, yeah, that sounds like a really fucking great idea. Let's do that, shall we?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, as long as there's cash involved, I think it's all good.
Yeah,
Free
I mean, it's not
money.
like we're getting money, is it? Well, I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, at the moment, barely. So, there's
Free,
also that.
yeah, free. I mean, pennies, even pennies, it's fine. Like even
Penny
small
stocks.
amounts, even
Shuffling
even
these little penny stocks around.
small amounts of pence. Is that what you call it? Pence? Just a few
Pence.
pence. Yeah,
Yeah,
just a few
pennies.
pence,
Pennies.
and then I will inject that. I will export it out of my ledger somehow. I'll figure it out. I'll break it down to get that seed phrase to shove it into a random ass fucking airdrop wallet.
Yeah,
Tag told
good.
the injury on this Stash thing. Tor, who embezzled money, I think it was, from the Secret Foundation. He was the founder of Secret Foundation.
Oh yeah, right.
He's like the president or the CEO of Stash App, and he came in and was like, "Hey, this is getting really good. Like people really like this on testnet. I don't see what the problem is."
It's all good.
what? That is an insane reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean,
Testnet
well,
people.
he's inventing money, so presumably he's gonna be in prison soon or something.
Yeah,
Or just
I
doing
think.
like computer or
I think
So
they
I-
basically decided to drop it.
I guess the takeaway there is when the money's actually not worth anything, people are willing to put their seed phrase in anything. So you can draw your
Yeah, so
conclusions
there's probably,
forward
like,
if testnet and mainnet are close. So what he's basically saying is that it's fine because testnet and mainnet are the same thing.
Okay, here's the quote. I had to go find it. So far, the feedback has been really positive from new users and early testers. So I'm not sure what you think the issue is. Let me know if there's improvements you can suggest.
Ben Davis says, from now I have to howl your seed phrase to get airdrops. Perfect. Let's get some usage.
do not
Let's get some
howl your
usage.
seed phrase.
Let's
That
get some
shit will
usage
be-
up here. Let's go.
That shit will be on the blockchain forever. Bad.
Let's get some.
Um,
Let's get some.
I mean,
movement going here.
is Wind toast now?
You know, I was saying before when Schultze said wind, I totally forgot that existed. Like I was like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot all about that. Like,
That's my point, man. It's actually a well done thing, but
yeah.
people.
Well,
forget.
honestly, it has a bit of a Pied Piper structure to it, though. It does. Like actually, even the images on the page, I don't know if even the images on the page kind of remind me of a bit of a Pied Piper thing. So it's not the coolest thing in the universe.
Have you seen the Pied Piper 10th anniversary reunion documentary on from HBO?
Are we talking Pied Piper like
from
Silicon Valley?
Yeah. Yeah. But look at here. I'm gonna save a screenshot of something I just pulled off their exact webpage. But yeah, like it has that a little bit of that. I don't know. It has a little bit of that piece to it, I guess. It's kind of weird.
So Rama in the chat while Usurper's screenshotting whatever asks,
whatever.
Can we bring back Juno Swap or nah? Just without a token. Well, I mean, wasn't Wind a better Juno Swap? So wouldn't it make more sense to bring back Wind without?
I literally just pulled this off the Window site. Like it is in the lower corner. It is literally a Wind Pied Piper. I mean, it kind of looks. It's the same colors and everything else. I mean, that's amazing. All right, maybe only I find
it looks like so recently, the thing I mentioned that I've been recovering some miniatures that I built when I was a teenager, and I've been watching YouTube videos on painting and stuff to get up to speed on doing these because I mainly do other stuff, whatever, not important. That image looks like when you click on the YouTube video of I found some of my teenage Warhammer in a cupboard. Look how roast my paint job. That is what that looks like. It's like, look at my fucking high elf.
That's literally what it is.
Oh my god!
It's like a weird.
It's the block green. It's got no gradient to it. Looks very fake. That lighting effect.
Oh my goodness!
Tabletop.
This is the longest news segment we've ever had. 56 minutes.
So wait, hang on a fucking second.
Yeah.
So we've covered Stash. Are we going to talk about the Jacob Jack drama?
Oh no, we probably should. But I don't know if we should.
Well, what is the Jacob Jack?
Happy to let that just blow over.
Well, it's just the Eye of Sauron, right? Just fucking casts its way
is that what it is?
the kingdoms. And sometimes you just happen to be like, you're just out, walk into the shops. You need to get some, Hobbit milk, whatever the fuck people do when they go to the shops in Middle Earth. And the Eye of Sauron just lights on you, man, and you're just like, you're getting some Hobbit jerky. There you go. That's probably more of a thing, right?
Hobbit tobacco.
Yeah.
Is that jerky made of hobbits, or is that
Hobbit jerky as people?
Well, Hobbit jerky would be jerky made of like beef jerky is made of beef, so Hobbit jerky is made of hobbits.
Yeah, okay. Hobbit jerky is hobbits. Yeah, there was this whole campaign. I know it's not cool anymore to eat Hobbit jerky, but it's just so tasty. It's the one thing I can't kick. Anyway, so you're out to get your pipe weed, right? And the Eye of Sauron just fucking coasts past. And you're just like, whoa, that was a near miss. And then it starts coasting back, and you're like, fucking maybe today is the day I get Jacobed. That was Jack. He was just out to buy his pipe weed. Maybe visit the Prancing Pony and get in some pints with the lads.
Just let it go past.
Enjoy some crack. I hear the crack was 90. But no, instead the Eye of Sauron fucking descended.
I will say one thing on it, and that is just that I don't understand why there's such a propensity to go straight to Twitter and air all this laundry.
That's the
if I have a bad thought about someone, I'll either DM them my bad thought, or I'll just go in my mind, geez, that guy's a bit of a cunt, or I don't like what they're doing, and then get right the fuck on with my day because I ain't got time to worry about that shit. But some people just seem to fucking sit there and seethe on stuff and just bash it all out on Twitter. It makes no sense to me
Well, I
whatsoever.
think when the majority of your engineering workload is like go mod tidy, then maybe you have a lot of time to fucking
Jesus Christ.
to fucking sit on Twitter and just
Okay.
waste other people's time and emotional energy. Whereas like the rest of us are busy like running businesses, doing taxes, speaking to our accountants, writing code, managing nodes, you know, writing blog posts, thinking about the future of the internet, you know, maybe working towards that rather than just jerking off 24/7.
See, now this is what makes us
The
different.
views expressed by the Fray do not respect the total views of Game of Nodes or the Game of Nodes family or the Game of Nodes or other people are respected. Did you
I
say
was gonna
jerking off in
say-
there? Is that what you...
That sounded horrible. on
Yeah,
that
but at this point, fucking like, look, honestly, chase me out of the cosmos. As a business, that would be annoying for us. I'm just so fucking over it. Just that's how it's probably a good point to say. A bit of Game of Nodes presenter
What?
news. I'm actually going off to do a PhD.
By the way, let me cut in just 1 second. Our Game of Nodes shirt is just going to have a carrot and says "Go Mod Tidy" with our Game of Nodes logo. That's our fucking shirt. That shirt is fucking awesome. Can we
Go
agree on
for
that?
it.
Just a simple carrot "Go Mod Tidy" with Game of Nodes on it. Can we?
That
would
sounds
be
awesome.
That shirt would be fucking awesome. Just
I
one color.
I will go. I will
just Go
Photoshop
Mod
that
Tidy
after this show.
with just a little GON. Oh, dude, I'm on it.
We could do it after the show. We could do it. On the
I
group
love it,
call.
dude. I would wear that every day.
I would wear that to a Cosmos conference.
I love shirts with like really random fucking deep references. Not this one. This one just says nerd. But I do like ones that like that, and that's a good Game Notes shirt. All right.
Yesterday I
Add it
was
to the
wearing my
stack of
favorite.
unshipped Game of Nodes merch.
My favorite T-shirt of that variant was one I was wearing yesterday, which has Dragon Sound on it, and it is an exact replica. I'm not even sure if this has ever been commercially available anywhere. I have the sneaking suspicion that my friend who has ADHD was the one who gave it to me as a Secret Santa and specifically photoshopped it and got it printed for me. But I think we've talked about the amazing film Miami Connection, the amazing kung fu. It's not kung fu; it's actually taekwondo film Miami Connection on the show before. The band that's in it, the really 80s band with all the fucking 40-year-old martial arts trainers that are supposed to be teenagers, is called Dragon Sound, and they have their own merch in film. Doesn't exist in the real world, and somebody made me one of those T-shirts. And it's like the deepest reference to a film that was out of print for 20 years, only ever showed in 3 cinemas before it was refound literally 25 years later. And it's just literally what one of the characters is wearing on stage because it's his own band. And people are just like, what is that? Is that like do you do martial arts? And you're like, no, this is a stupid ninjas.
I love it.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
All right, you were saying something else, but boy, I love that idea.
Yeah, we should do that T-shirt. And to be honest, No with Veto is rad as well. We need to finish off.
I know we have
design. Your design's rad.
I know we have a lot of good ideas. We just don't
have a
follow
lot of
through
good
like everything else in my life.
We all have great ideas. We just
like
don't
literally
follow
everything
through.
else in my whole life.
Not lots of follow through. Well, now we have a DAO. You see, we can
That's
actually
true.
just like get shit printed.
Oh, and we need to take some actions on that DAO. Actually,
we need to get some hot DAO action.
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of need to put some money in there to pay Rama. So,
all right, we're not doing.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about our first
business of the day.
Our first business sponsoring opportunity that we're taking advantage of in the United States.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's coming in November. So you guys are flying in for that, right? Is that what's happening?
We probably do need to put some USDC in there. So I guess we'll have to piss around with the Axelar bridge and blah blah blah. And is there a sweet way of just getting USDC into Cosmos now that isn't as painful as that?
you swap a shitcoin for it on Osmosis.
Is that happening? Or like, why
Ooh.
is it? What's the wait? Do we know?
What?
That would be the circle. That would be
The Noble chain?
yeah, Noble, right?
I don't know.
It's been live for like 3 months, 4 months, something like that.
Well,
Like
so they were raising money fairly recently. It just closed. So I guess they're trying to do something new. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, and Ben said USDT on Kava. Yeah, we know about that. Yeah, that's yeah. So Noble,
I
so
saw
they
some proposals
Hmm.
around to add USDT to various chains via governance. I think Evmos was the last one I saw.
I have no idea. What they're trying to get USDC native on Evmos. Is that what you said?
USDT
Oh,
from
USDT.
Kava.
Oh,
I
I
think
see
it's
what you're saying.
starting to proliferate.
Yeah. Okay.
I have some
I
weird
gotcha.
news for you guys if you want to hear it. This is outside the cosmos. So Near, who I stand for, I think they're great. They are actually transitioning all of their like funding from developers to developing a governance kind of module. And they're like, this is going to be great. We're going to have a lot of really active people and it's not going to be toxic at all. And so Twitter lately has been like blowing up about it because one of their guys, Joe from Ready Layer One, he made a post about it. And he's like, listen, we were developing this thing and they sucked funding dry in order to put it towards governance. And like, here's the issues with governance we're going to see. And, you know, this is what we see in other ecosystems. We don't think it's quite, we're not to that point yet. And so the Near Twitter has been a shitstorm around, you don't understand governance, like developers, there've been enough funding towards that. And it's been absolutely fascinating. I say Usurper, one of the original threads on it, but it's just exploded everywhere at this point. So we get to look forward to more governance, toxicity, and other ecosystems here soon. Yeah,
I was going to say when Aptos finishes bringing in DAOs, they're going to have a fun party time.
I guess the real question is, how do we IBC governance to all different ecosystems, right? That's really just
maybe we
bring
should
it
make
right
it our
in.
work to go and just ruin every other ecosystem by introducing governance to it, and then everything will be bad everywhere, equally bad.
Goodness.
And then everybody would just be like, well, okay, here we go. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because you would think that governance would help solve things, but it really just kind of like flushes things down the toilet. There's a certain point where like the benevolent dictator is the way to go. And like, I don't think we're past the point where the benevolent dictator, like we're not past the benevolent dictator stage, I don't think, in crypto.
So what you're saying is, okay, interesting. So Schulze is maybe somewhere between a classical Marxist and a Stalinist. So we're at dictatorship of the proletariat, but we don't think the proletariat are sensible enough yet to transition to full communism. Good to know. Thank you, Schulze. You heard it here first. Communist insurrection starts on game of, I don't have a pun for communist insurrection. Game of, was there a major communist thinker that had a name beginning with N? I'm just thinking, I just stuck on Trotsky and Lenin. And we obviously don't help us at all for the purposes of a succinct one-liner to wrap up that joke. Anyway,
I stand by what I said.
Yeah, fair. I was watching the 10-hour loop of Marshal Zhukov taking off his coat from the death of Stalin the other day, and it is genuinely mesmerizing. That doesn't segue into our news section at all. So anyway, the point to finish my little news thing. So I am going to, in a month or so, be starting a PhD, which is going to take a very, very long time. Part-time, I should add. So you're not getting rid of me. But we'll be working on digital cash. So
what's your official title when you become doctor? Is it going to be Dr. Frey or Dr. The Frey?
I will drop the and switch from a genderless honorific to doctor, another genderless but more socially elevated honorific.
Thank the gods. I cannot wait for that to happen 5 years from now.
Also, Dr. Frey kind of rhymes with Dr. Dre, and apart from the spousal abuse, obviously quite a creative force. But can you separate artist from the person? Possibly not.
Can you just, in anticipation of your great success, just fucking change it now?
No, not for 5 years. Over 5 years, in fact.
What about Master Fray? Can we go with Master Fray?
I could
Master what?
potentially stretch to a master's in about 2 years, assuming I pass my Viva. So it's going to be an ever evolving situation on Game of Nodes. So, but they say it takes a village to raise a baby, right? Which I'm fucking 100% learning at the moment, by the way. But I think it also takes a whole podcast to raise a PhD thesis proposal, because it actually has had input, I think, from everybody on this chat, with possible exception of Null, who simply said, "I'm not sure why you want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work for not much outcome."
I mean,
but
I thought that as well.
Was appreciated.
Yeah, there was definitely an outpour of admiration from all the people in the groupie, except me.
well, I don't want. Somebody once told me. I thought about this. Going back to business school when I was like in my early 30s or something, and somebody said, "Go look at the syllabus, and if you feel you could teach that class, don't fucking go take it." And so I think same thing would happen here. Like, go do it instead, right? Don't just get the MS or whatever else on top of it. Like, if you think you could be involved in teaching it, then don't do it. So I'm not sure what your thesis is and where it's going. And I'm not saying it's not going to be worthwhile, because I think it would be worthwhile no matter what. But don't also underestimate your current capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, I think also we're at such an interesting point now where there's just going to have to be like a lot more. Like, I think we're kind of running out of road for the complete Wild West period of blockchain, and it's about to start getting interesting and like, what? Okay, fine. This thing exists. It's not going away. What is it? But what really is it? And from a computer science perspective, I think one of the most useful things you can do to go and work on actually making this party happen is to work out how the fuck digital cash and fiat and stuff are actually going to interact with all this crap. Because at the moment, fucking Circle and all those, circle jerks, really, like, it's, don't fucking trust it. Don't fucking like it. Not going to use it. Most people probably same situation. NGMI, in my opinion, like my humble opinion, right? What the fuck do I know? But like, all I know is it takes one of those guys to get caught with their pants down, and that is it. That is going to be the final fucking regulation ban hammer in every Western country. They're on such fucking thin ice.
Salty Fray is so fucking fun, man. I love Salty Fray. It is like a totally different show.
It's just the demeanor of just like this. If you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all, has for some reason slipped this evening a little bit.
Its early trademark has now slowly slipped into fuck it.
You know what I think happened? I was staying in this Airbnb, right, for a couple of nights, and the bed was so uncomfy, and also like the baby was there, and they kind of have to see you at eye level, and the room layout was weird, blah 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 blah. End up having to basically sleep on the floor. I'm pretty good at sleeping kind of anywhere, so it's not a big deal. But I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking getting old. Like sleeping on a floor is something that I'm just like, I'm not a fussy person. This was the first time in my life I slept on the floor and then woke up in the morning and was like, fuck, I'm bruised and shit and feel achy and
shit
garbage.
happens.
I get the same when we go hiking, like sleeping on that little fucking mattress thing with the shitty fucking blow up pillow is just fucked. And Schultzy knows what I'm talking about. But
this was a pure wooden. This was like on the wooden floor with a pillow.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucked.
I refuse. Can't do it.
But I remember back to college, man. I could fall asleep on the fucking in the curb and it'd be fine.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So I was like, oh god damn, I'm getting old and stuff. And then was a bit grouchy. And then got home, and then
grouchy.
Suddenly get a fucking actual bed, and you just actually sleep 6 hours because you've got a baby, so you're not gonna sleep more than fucking 6 hours, are you? And I woke up today being like, oh my god, This is what it's like to feel rested for the first time in like a few days. So maybe it's just I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a pretty good mood. So maybe maybe I'm a fucking prick when I'm in a good mood. Maybe that's maybe I'm
British,
really nice when
That's
I'm
it.
under the weather and fucked.
Cosmos had a future, but Frey sleeps on the wood floor for one night, and it's fuck it.
Yeah, fucking
Going nowhere.
Let's burn it down.
Bunch of circle jerk.
Circle jerk bullshit. No. No, IBC is very much GMI. Big fan of IBC. I mean, I actually genuinely think out of all of the current protocols for shuffling around shitcoins, IBC is kind of top of the pack. And if I was, I just think it's mad that there are governments seriously working on working on digital currency that are not, to my knowledge, considering using IBC as the protocol or designing around that, or whatever. It seems like a very obvious. This has already worked. It's already in production. YOLO. So,
hey, you know what? I have a way. This is this episode. I don't know, but I have a way to turn it around. It's about time, right? Is it time?
It probably is.
Oh
yeah.
shit!
Oh shit! Now you like banners. You fucking hated banners up to this point.
No,
now you're like, oh,
as
I
agreed,
hate the
hate
banners.
these
Because you
banners,
don't agree with my randomness, I'm going to slowly turn the pages, and you get to pick the page and the number. Okay.
Pick the Cosmos section.
Stop.
The whole Cosmos section.
Stop.
Okay. Which number on the left or the right page?
Left page.
Yeah.
Number
this is like-
76.
this is like a magic trick
Okay,
for
there's
choice.
5 per page. The number 76 is not
three.
going to work.
Go number
Count-
3.
Count
Always
76
3.
from there.
At EA Battlefield.
Hang on.
User-
What's the subject?
Oh, sorry. The subject is, of course, Null, gaming. I know you're somewhat of a pro gamer yourself, so this should all be, very close to home, if anything. So at Battlefield, user Garth_turds just read my address. Oh, hang on a second. I'm reading the wrong one. You said third, didn't you? Not second.
Number 3.
He did. We would never known that. It wouldn't have mattered at all, but I appreciate the honesty.
Weirdly, so number 2 and number 3 are actually a story. They follow
read 'em
on.
both.
So I'm just going to continue reading number 2. And I'm going to read you number 3. So at Battlefield, user Garth_turds just read out my address online, except replacing the name of my town with toilet. My daughters are crying. So this went down to the one that you actually selected for me to read. At Battlefield, user Garth_turds still has not been banned. He's an utter nuisance. He's also using some kind of hack to make himself louder. There you go.
Maybe we should cancel this
Speechless.
segment.
I've
Sure
actually
seems
realized
like,
these are all a story. There are about another 10. with
All related to Garth_turds.
Garth_turds. This was clearly like a story arc in the drill world. If for those following along at home, you can find this section on page 140. If you would like to find out what happened with Garth_turds.
This may have been pre-threads, before that was a thing, before people discovered the thread emoji.
Hey, is swatting a thing outside of the US?
No, because we don't just go and fucking shoot people generally. Although obviously when we do shoot people, they are predominantly ethnic minorities and black people, because we still have a very deep problem with structural racism. I mean, that's literally what happened in France the other week, wasn't it? Like that was why there were massive riots, which is common across Europe. So,
sorry,
but swatting, where it's just like, you could actually just get some random person killed, is a lot harder to do.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, you never heard of swatting, Null?
Oh, is that when you call the SWAT team to like someone's house?
You call
Yeah,
it
like
an issue,
someone beats you at Call of Duty, and so you're like, "That's it. I'm calling the fuzz."
fucking that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if they did do that in Australia, we wouldn't show up with an army.
Nobody cares that much. Just like
You just show up with a kangaroo and a cat of 4 eggs.
It'd be like,
throw
the
a wallaby
Fed
through the
target.
window.
My
It'd-
partner
it'd
has
be
got to
the-
ask you some questions. Apparently, you've
It'd-
been rude online.
The plod response in Australia would be like the fat sergeant with the bottom of his gut hanging out of his shirt, along with like the hot intern, and they'd be like, "We heard there was, drugs here and weaponry. Can we have them?" What? We can't.
Oh my goodness. First time in the Yabba?
Don't come after me, the plod. I don't mean any harm.
The police are called the plod there.
It's like a British term, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it stands.
Is
It's short for PC plod, isn't it?
So when
That
my
doesn't
friend
help at
first
all.
told me, he calls them the plod and the RZA. The RZA?
The Rizza?
Yeah, I can't remember the other thing that he calls them, but they're both funny ass terms. I like the plod. It's nice.
The blood.
I like the paddy
comes
wagon
the
just for
plod.
the undertones.
The filth is the other one, isn't it? That's like
Ah,
East
the
End.
filth. That's a good
The
one.
Rosas. I don't know where the
Oh, the
Rosas.
Ro- yeah.
come from.
Oh, the Rosas. That's pretty
That's-
standard, isn't it?
Yeah, that's standard, right?
That's
like a-
East End of London, I think. Again.
Yeah, we don't. No one really uses that term here except for him.
Oh, wait. Real time follow up. Rama says, what if I drop this? Would it extend the show? Draft proposal, duality protocol merger, a proposal on Neutron Forum. The answer to that is no.
No, it
Nothing
would not.
extends the show, right?
Oh, there you go.
It
So
would not extend the show.
Ben Davis has said PC plod is the character in Noddy. There you go. I always just assumed it was a reference to Flat Feet, but
What's
there
Noddy?
you go. What?
What's naughty?
Yeah,
What
that
is
doesn't
it?
help either.
Okay, well, Noddy's a children's TV program.
Oh, okay.
Ah, okay.
I got you.
You don't have Noddy?
The name sounds familiar, but it might be similar to something else that we
I
have.
mean, I guess not. It's probably like fucking
Is that like-
Postman Pat.
Is that
or
like
some
Caillou?
bullshit
You guys
they
have
got like.
Caillou? You guys have
No.
that guy? Boy, that kid's a little bitch.
Maybe you guys. I guess.
You gotta
Do you
watch
guys
Caillou
have
to
Thomas
get
the Tank Engine? You must have Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, yeah. That show sucks.
Oh
You
yeah,
probably
good
don't
old-
You know, Thomas the Tank Engine is based. The problem is we're getting to train facts here, but Thomas the Tank Engine is based on the really small train that's on the Isle of Man.
I
So
did
on the
not
other
know
hand-
that.
On the Isle of Man, there's a small gauge railway that basically just goes from one little town to like the one other town in the Isle of Man. I've been on it. It's really weird. It's just a really weird small train.
All I know about Thomas the Tank Engine is it's like capitalist propaganda.
Yeah, it very much is. But you know, I guess it kind of makes sense because the Isle of Man is just like basically gambling, accountancy, and tax evasion. So, you know, they're pretty hyper capitalist there.
And motorcycle racing. Isn't that where the
Yes, love a
that
bit
sh-
of motorcycle
fucking
racing.
crazy that thing? I think
Yeah, just
Say
a lot of
might have
crashes
released
there.
airdrop because stats are going fucking ape shit.
yeah.
They might
So
have
let's
responded
grab
to
this.
hashtag say scam.
Let's grab this last item of news here.
Oh, what is it?
You might just have enough time to crack it in as well.
Fuck me. You know, there was more news. I keep pressing Control D, which apparently copies something to the fucking thing below it. I was losing all the news. Anyway, because you have to press Control D over this side to mute yourself, right? And I keep pressing it in the spreadsheet and fucking everything up. Anyway, so Rama says that friends.tech has been released, although I went to friends.tech and there is fucking nothing there. But this is a platform on Base, which, if you don't know, is
Coinbase?
the Coinbase Launchpad.
Mm-hmm.
Launchpad, the Launchpad of the
Coin
boom.
pad, if you will.
Coin-
A
no.
pad of coins, if you will.
Coinbase Launchpad for the boomers. Oh, friend.tech. It's not friends.tech. Did he just come in and change it? I think he did.
Wait. Rob is in our OKRs sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about permissions control.
Okay, so we need to talk about boundaries here, but also on a more positive spin, this now proves to somebody outside the core DAO that there actually, in fact, has been a spreadsheet for a very long time, which I assume is, it kind of sounds like it's part of the performance art of the whole experience, but there always has been a spreadsheet. It's just that
there has been a
information
spreadsheet.
Storage and retrieval, which
It
is
just
ironic because we work in
it
blockchain.
remains a very sparsely used
Yeah.
spreadsheet. So the concept, tokenization of crypto personalities, where users can buy and sell shares of individuals. The price of these shares is determined by supply and demand.
I'm sorry, buy and sell what?
The shares of individuals.
What does that mean?
You can get a piece.
Piece of
You
what?
buy and sell shares of an individual.
Is that like an NFT? What are we talking about?
What do you mean individual what?
Tokenization of crypto personalities.
Okay, so yeah, you create an NFT of your person, and then you
So like
split it.
tokenization of cringe Kryptonium, and you can like turn him into 20 pieces and then buy a piece. So one of the features is owning these shares gives users the privilege of a private chat with the respective individual.
Is this like human trafficking on chain?
Yeah, it's
Like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand what you're talking. Web3's gone too far, man. What is this?
it's fucking weird.
So
But
is
it's
this a
beautiful.
Coinbase product, or this is just launching on Base?
So it's launching on Base.
On Base. It's not a Coinbase
Yeah.
thing though, right? Because okay.
So it's a Coinbase Launchpad.
What does that mean? It's just like
where
Coin-
they go and sell stuff. I don't know. Launchpad. Isn't that where they raise these days? Instead of calling it ICO, they go to a Launchpad.
Oh, I see. So it's like it's one of their VC. It's one of their funded type of projects to get this chain off the ground type of idea.
Who
I
would
get
fund this though? Like
Coinbase.
I mean, yeah. If I were on that panel, I'd be like, no, thank you, guys.
The marketplace for your friends. That is an awful tagline.
It's kind of
It
like
is
going,
seriously-
hey,
who
we
fucking-
spent the whole of Web 2 essentially creating large social networks to monetize your entire life and collect all the data we could about you. How about we also make those completely toxic by making you compete against each other and physically own each other? It's, by the way, not slavery. How dare you? How dare you even suggest such a thing? We're actually very, very woke. We have like several minority employees.
Don't you know?
And my
our
best
history?
friend is a minority.
My best friend is actually a minority, so it's actually you that is.
I know a lot of minorities.
Very racist. Somebody was complaining to me the other day that Twitter X was really bad because they couldn't send their friend a message anymore, like a DM, because their friend had the tick and they didn't. And I was like, oh, it sounds like Twitter's finally found product market fit then, because you need to pay them £7.50. And they were like, no, this is an equality issue, because what if what if you'd be limiting access to, like, I don't know, a Somali refugee or something? And I was like, I think a Somali refugee probably has other issues like, toxic racist government policy, rather than, tweeting on Twitter for the likes. And they're like, but they can't get their story across anymore. And I was like, I don't know, how many do you follow? Very weird. The social media, man, this trip. But yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, like, on the one hand, Elon has fucked Twitter, but on the other hand, he has actually got people to pay for a thing.
But
wasn't
it has to
making
be
money.
less than what it was making more. It has to be
Yeah.
less than before, though.
I mean, I guess it has to be, yeah.
It has to be like.
But
I don't know.
people have to pay for things eventually. Like, things can't be
Yeah.
free.
Yeah, Howl is not going to run forever for nothing. Like, fucking
No,
prices
yeah.
are coming, baby.
How's only listed on an exchange that is dead, so I don't know that you can actually even interact with it, I guess.
It
Won't
looks like
Howl live forever, since we, the validators, are processing it?
Yeah, Howl will live in perpetuity.
Is Howl
Yeah.
a real thing if there's no interface to mess with it?
I mean, these are all valid questions, because who knows? I'm not even clear 100% whose card the the interface is on. Maybe the DAO pays for it. Did we ever finish doing that?
Can
That
you
might be
make
We need to do that. Yeah.
Can you make it CLI only? How?
It would be trivial to do so. Yes, you can make a little fancy bash script that would just sort of wrap the client, and then you could just like have a little waiting thing, where you do a bash script animation so that you get a little